Good evening. Thank you for tuning in and for watching Atlanta News First Plus. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here. Lot to talk about in the world of weather. Certainly, we're tracking the cold, and the wind's going to increase as well. So we are talking about extremely cold, and in some cases, dangerously cold wind chills this evening, overnight tonight, and then especially tomorrow morning. And we will do this all over again Thursday night or tomorrow night on into Friday morning. Go ahead and getting into the forecast here. And we'll start off slow, so if you have to step away before tuning back in, or maybe you haven't tuned in yet, and wait for those folks that are going to wait for maybe just a couple more minutes into the stream, and then we'll start kind of diving deeper into the forecast. And want to remind you, if you need me to go back to anything, or if you have a question about something that's being discussed in the moment, there are two ways where you can ask your weather questions, address any concerns that you may have. You can simply comment on YouTube. That's one platform that we're streaming on. Also, the Atlanta News First app, First Alert Weather app, Roku, Fire Stick, all the places here to keep you updated. And we're streaming there right now. Also, I'm going to pop this up on the screen, 470-777-WANF. That's 470-777-9263. You can ask your questions, get them answered live. And I'm going to pull up that text thread, make sure I don't miss anything as well. We had some folks text in even last night, and it's a good place to get your questions answered. So just a couple of places that if you do need further clarification on the forecast, and that is what is so great about Atlanta News First Plus, right? We're chatting, we're going back and forth, and you can get the information that you need. Those are two good places to do just that. Right now, cold weather advisory is about an hour and 26 minutes or so from going into effect for pretty much all of North Georgia. Shaded in blue, it'll go into effect at 10 p.m. It remains in effect until 10 a.m. Thursday. Within that advisory area, cold weather advisory, should say, wind chill values, what it feels like, as cold as 5 degrees above zero. Now, that's mainly North Metro, mainly mountains. I think more or so lower teens, low to mid-teens, the immediate city of Atlanta and point southward nonetheless. Cold across the board, and cold enough to cause issues if you're outside for an extended period of time and if you aren't wearing, proper clothing, hats, gloves, heavy winter coat. Make sure everything is covered because, if you're outside for an hour and a half tomorrow morning, trying to get into work, maybe walking to work, taking the bus, waiting for the bus. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but of course, an extended period of time, and if you're not properly dressed, you could have some issues there. So it is going to be very, very cold tomorrow morning, and it will be a cold day regardless. Not just the morning, but overall, it's going to be a very, very cold, uncomfortably cold Thursday in the First Alert forecast. Temperatures right now, again, we're just starting to kind of dive into the colder air, the leading edge of the really cold stuff, just starting to move into North Georgia and really the northwest metro, not even into the south metro, barely into the city of Atlanta. Hartsfield-Jackson has fallen back to 41, but notice Canton down to 33. As the crow flies, it's not too far up the road, but there's nearly a 10-degree temperature difference, and that's because colder air is moving in from the north and west. Rome, 34, LJ down to freezing, 32, Helen, 36. Some of our mountain communities at or below freezing now, and if you still have moisture on the roadways up there, especially our side streets, secondary roads, personal driveways where GDOT was not able to treat, I would plan on there being some slick spots. Not just this evening, but of course overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Nothing else really falling from the clouds. Maybe a light snow shower or two, a couple of flurries up there, but not much additional accumulation. It's just the fact that we've already had moisture on the roads, and in areas where that didn't dry, temperatures now falling below freezing, it could easily freeze. And we could have icy spots in the mountains this evening. Same story tomorrow morning. Despite it being brutally cold tomorrow and many mountain communities remaining below freezing for the entire day, the fact that we're going to see a little more sunshine tomorrow, even though we're below freezing, that'll help further melt, further dry all of our main lanes, our routes through the day tomorrow. So I do expect some improvement, at least in road conditions, not when it comes to what it feels like outside. Let's bring our clock back here. First Alert Weather Day tomorrow, 7 a.m. Forecast wind chill in Atlanta, 14, 8 degrees in Carrollton, 9 Canton, 5 LJ. Eatonton, Thomaston are southern and southeastern most communities in the Atlanta News First viewing area. Typically the warmest, and technically that is the case tomorrow, but not by much. Feeling like 16 at 7 a.m. in Thomaston, 19 in Eatonton. And by the time we get to noon, we improve, but not all that much. Feeling like it's in the upper teens, the lower 20s when that wind blows across the metro. That's at lunchtime. That's even with a little bit of help from sunshine. Feeling like 29 at that time at Eatonton, 25 in Thomaston, and teens, 10 degrees. In fact, in LJ, that's your real feel at noon. 19 degrees in Helen. Again, that's at noon. Warmest point of the day, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Feeling like the upper teens and lower 20s up in the mountains, mid to upper 20s in the metro, and upper 20s, lower 30s further to the south and east. That is the warmest point of the day. It will not last long going forward in time. If you have, Thursday night, date night, dinner night plans, it's going to be freezing. Wind chills back into the teens in Atlanta by 8 p.m., and we'll bring you into Friday morning. Again, we've extended that first alert weather day all the way into and through the morning commute Friday because it's going to be dangerously cold yet again Friday morning. Again, that's a look at wind chills, what it is going to feel like across North Georgia early Friday morning. Single digits, kind of the rule there, with that first alert weather day in effect until about noon or so Friday. Feeling like 12 degrees at 7 a.m. Friday morning in Atlanta, 6 in LJ, 8 in Carrollton, 7 in Rome. So kind of a miserably cold, yet again, start to the day Friday. A look at high temperatures. This is the other story. Again, the numbers we were just looking at, that's what it feels like, not what the thermometer reads. And a wind chill temperature will not freeze water. Just because it feels like 32 doesn't mean the water is going to freeze. We need the actual temperature to be 32 degrees or colder in order for water to start freezing and start to have pipe issues and stuff like that. And forecast high temperatures tomorrow, many spots will remain at or below freezing. Helen trying to get just above at 33. Lucky if you get there. And surrounding higher elevation neighborhoods, community, and homes will be colder. 26, your forecast high temperature in LJ, well below freezing. 32 in Canton, 36 in Atlanta. Keep in mind, the average high temperature this time of year is 23 degrees warmer, 59. Only 36 in Atlanta for a high tomorrow. 37 in Griffin, 40 Thomaston, 42 Eatonton. Cold is definitely taking hold of the entire first alert forecast. Hello to Joan on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in and for commenting. Again, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, there are multiple places where you can ask those. One is on YouTube, the Atlanta News First account. We would love a like and a follow. You can be alerted to streams just like this one, or you can text us 470-777-9263. Again, saying that slow for you, and we can just pop it up on the screen. 470-777-WANF or 9263. And I'm actually logging into that system right now, hopefully able to get your texts up, see your texts. And it doesn't look like we have anything up at the moment, not at least during this stream. We had some from yesterday evening stream, and we were chatting back and forth with folks. And again, Joan on YouTube, thanks for tuning in and for watching. Joan, if you have any questions, give me a holler. It's going to be windy tomorrow. That's why those cold temperatures are going to be made to feel even colder. This is a look at forecast wind gusts. I would say this is kind of the higher end of the spectrum, but easily gusts 25 to 35 starting even tonight into tomorrow morning. So when you're getting up and out the door, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, those winds are going to be increasing, gusting 25 to 35. Could have some wind gusts up around 40 miles an hour. That's through noon. And I think we're windiest between mid-morning, 9, 10 a.m., and mid-afternoon, 3, 4 p.m., and then we're going to start to see winds taper down. 6 p.m. gusting to 31, by 9 p.m. gusting to 26, and we'll see winds really start to calm down. Still, though, a light breeze as we get into tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. But as mentioned, still enough of a breeze tomorrow night into Friday morning to make the already very cold temperatures feel that much colder across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Good news, though. If you hate the cold, you're ready for warmer weather. I'm not saying winter's done. It's not. We'll have more cold blasts for sure. And in fact, the next strong front could arrive as we get into the first couple of days of March. But we do have a warm-up in the first alert 7-day forecast. Hard freeze. Friday morning, many are in the teens, lower 20s. Those aren't wind chills. Those are actual temperatures. So hard freeze. Make sure the pipes are covered. Could have some pipes bursting, some of those sorts of issues. Water mains may have another few of those. They're going to have some issues by the time we get to Friday afternoon. As we start to thaw, that's actually when most people notice that the break has occurred, because the ice melts and water, of course, starts shooting out of those pipes and out of those water mains, stuff like that. And we're going to certainly be watching for that possibility as we get into Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Saturday improvement, high temperatures back in the mid-50s, upper 50s Sunday. We've dropped your rain chance for Sunday. It looks like a pretty nice day. Maybe more clouds. That's about it. 62 Monday, 68 Tuesday, 69 Wednesday. So several afternoons approaching 70 degrees. That's in Atlanta next week. So south side, southeast side could be back in the 70s, maybe 70, 72. And morning's pretty comfortable in the 40s to near 50 with low humidity. Typically when you see a spread like that, mornings mid-40s, afternoons near 70, that means the air is dry because there's a big difference between the morning low and the afternoon high, and dry air allows for that big difference. So if you ever see that, just know the air will probably be drier, or at least on the drier end of things, and that certainly will be the case next week. So also low humidity in the forecast is going to be pretty nice. I want to thank you for tuning in and for watching this Atlanta News First Plus stream. As always, we'll continue to keep you updated. First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete put a new video in the First Alert Weather app. I'll have your full forecast coming up tonight at 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW. And then First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete will take it back over 10:30 to 11:30. We're going to hop back over to CBS, WANF for late news tonight at 11 p.m. with the coldest of the year starting to filter into North Georgia by that time. So good time to check in, see how cold it is, how cold it's going to get. Another update for you at 11. And if you can't stay up with us tonight, we will join you tomorrow morning. At 4:30, join the Atlanta News First Morning team, First Alert Meteorologists Courtney Jacobazzi, Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, all here to keep you updated, walking you through the bitter cold we're all going to be waking up to tomorrow morning. Again, that newscast starting at 4:30.